Nancy disappeared.
Yeah, and now
Yeah.
John's going to disappear. You're taking turns disappearing, John and Nancy.
John better disappear because he can't seem to fix it. So
Now, my wife can't make it right now, but if you're talking about Parkinson's, because she had the DBS surgery, if you would see her, you would never know that she had Parkinson's. And big difference from before to after the surgery. Because now it's like a year after, and we're doing everything. We went to AC over the weekend, Atlantic City, and people look at her and just think she's perfectly, that you don't have something like Parkinson's. So it's great.
it's amazing. Amazing. How many people on this call have had DBS? Any? Oh, okay. Lizanne and
My
it just says
husband has Parkinson's. He
Well,
had
then, okay,
DBS.
then my wife. Yeah. yeah.
Okay. He had DBS
Oh.
surgery in December.
Oh,
So
wow. And
yeah.
how did it work?
it's good. He's definitely way better than he was before. We've had major motor improvements. But it's definitely been an adjustment, like in the thing I would say, we went back every 2 weeks for reprogramming and tinkering, and we have the virtual device. So if, sometimes if we're away or something, I'll increase his settings myself if he's having a bad day, or if we've been able to do that. So that's been good. But everybody says it takes usually a minimum of 6 to 12 months after the surgery before you're really like in a nice, a good steady state, I want to say, good place. So I'm wondering, who was the man that was just on that said
Carl on the upper left.
Yeah.
did you
So
find that as well, that you're
With my
took a-
wife, I would say
Can't fix that.
it's now 1 year since the surgery, but I would say starting at like month 3 or 4, things were getting under control. And month 5 or 6, everything was like, we had the knife edge of lowering the medicine and raising the stimulation. So it's like a knife edge where
Yes.
if we raised it too much, she started having more of the dyskinesia. If we lowered it too much, then a little bit more of the tremors. And
Okay.
each side, left and the right, was different.
That'd be the option of no.
So, yeah, but the doctors did say that with her, normally what would take someone 7-8 months, she was really early on in
Okay.
the comfort level. So it
Wow.
was,
That's great. That's awesome to hear.
Well, Leanne, what were the motor symptoms that you said have improved?
So my husband actually has had Parkinson's. He was diagnosed in 2015. So he's had it for a fairly long time. And he was very rock stable until about 2 years ago, and then had a marked really started to decline dramatically.
my wife was
Uh-huh.
so similar to that, by the way. It's the same 2016, the same type of thing.
Just leave it. Just, it's
Wow.
fine. Leave it.
Okay. And he's never, he doesn't have tremors, but what he really had
Oh.
was pretty significant bradykinesia. And we were going up, his off periods were becoming more frequent, and the medicine wasn't lasting as long. And we were going up and up and up. And then he was starting to have side effects from the meds, started to have a fair amount of hallucinations, the bradykinesia. And then he would have problems, not just with bradykinesia, but he was starting to get stuck and have frozen episodes.
Oh.
And so then he got DBS surgery, as I said, in December. And, he's walking and talking so much better. We've been able to lower our meds by about 30% from their maximum worseness last fall. And his hallucinations are basically almost gone. I would say his engagement, even his articulateness with the way he speaks, and in conversation, our friends have noticed that his vocabulary is improved. Like they say, wow, this is the Keith we knew 10 years ago. So
Wow.
that's, but he's very, he's still slow, but it doesn't impact our lives anymore. Like last fall, I would say before DBS, I was like, holy cow, at this rate, he's going to be wheelchair bound in a year. And what are we,
Oh.
you know, and we're pretty physically active. We walk 4 to 5 days a week. He works out three to 4 days a week with a personal trainer. He hasn't, where he used to be a big bike rider. He hasn't been back on his bike, and he's worried about that. He's a little bit more fearful because he gave that up prior to the that the year preceding the surgery, he fell a couple times and couldn't, he would get going. He could, if he was going and he was continuing to ride, he was fine. But if he had to stop, like at a stoplight and then restart, it couldn't do it. So that's my goal. But you know what, even if we don't get there to riding a bike, so what, we can still go on walks and hikes and travel and things like that.
And
So,
where did he have his surgery?
at Mount Sinai in New York City.
And who was your doctor?
His name is Panov, Dr. P as in Paul, A-N-O-V.
Okay, can I tell them? And the reason I'm asking,
Sure.
and this is now taking a direction I wasn't expecting, but still interesting. John and I went to his sort of favorite and best neurologist in the city. And after, we're kind of working with him for a few years, he said a few weeks ago when we were there, he said, I think it's time to look into DBS. And, John burst into tears upon hearing that. And he's going to do it again right now. So, very hopeful. And he said, I want you to we're going to organize it so you get 3 separate opinions from neurosurgeons about, whether it would help you. And so we went to the first group. I can't, in the last 10 days, let's say. I don't know. Anyway, my mind is a little fried. And after interviewing with 2 neurosurgeons, they said, we don't think you're a candidate for DBS. And John has, freezing episodes, balance, gait. He's been falling a lot. His speech is almost non-existent. So as you were talking, Lizanne, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Because I was expecting you to say, oh, he just has tremors and that's resolved.
Oh, no, yeah. No, like he
So,
couldn't get up out of a chair. He couldn't get in and out of the car,
Right. Oh,
like-
yeah. No, same with John.
Yeah.
So,
Nancy, did you guys check with Dr. Danish?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, we did. Did I meet Dr. Which one was Dr. Danish?
That,
He's at Robert Wood Johnson, right?
Oh, DePaulo.
he
Oh,
was with Robert Wood Johnson, but now he went down to Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore?
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, he's been doing it for 25 years, so, and he
and,
did.
and he did Beth.
He did bets, and also, when you came to the NJ Spine and Wellness, he was one of the doctors, the main doctors that gave the
Right.
talk.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, sir. It just says iPhone. Did you want to comment since you've had DBS?
Are you talking to me, John?
Yes,
Sorry, Nancy.
that's okay.
Yes, I had.
I'm starting to look like
DBS
John.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My dog just. I told them to take him out. I have 2 of them. Yeah, I was pretty bad before the DBS. I got it done April this year, and my main symptoms were tremors, unbalancing, and a lot of stiffness in the muscles.
Mhm.
And after the DBS, like I would say, like a month and a half was really wonderful. Like I was like that I have been given a new life. But after like 1 month and a half, a lot of symptoms start coming back, and I was visiting my neurologist twice a month or so. And in the initially when the DBS was done, after that, like after 1.5 months, like unbalancing was a lot. Now he adjusted the level. He went up to 4.0, and he says if I go too high, I used to get a twisted body. My body, like simply, my arm used to twist like this, and I could not walk. And so he bring it to one day he told us, like, shut off the system and see what happens after that, because before the surgery I was taking medication every 4 hours, and after the surgery I start taking every 3 hours, and even 2.5 hours I was getting the symptoms. So he told me to shut down the system and see what happens, and we did for 2 days, and we saw that medicine is working fine when the system is off, but when the system is on, the medicine is not working as good as like before the surgery. And after that, he adjusted the level. He says, keep it low, don't go too high. What is happening in your case is, like, if we go too high, like I think Carl said it, I think in the beginning, that if the level goes too high, then I was
Yeah.
getting those symptoms, and if I get too low, I was getting tremors and stiffness. So now I'm trying to stay in the middle, and I'm trying to watch the symptoms. Like, my medication is not, like, I would say, it's not too much down. I used to take like 6 to 8 pills before, and I'm taking 6 pills now, even now, because I do get those symptoms. But balancing is a little better, and I think whoever got DBS done, I would say that I think I heard from Carl in the last call that his wife's Beth's symptoms were better, got better after a year's time, like 8 months to years
No,
time.
it
So
was
that's
more
what
like
I'm
6.
expecting.
Yeah, it was more like 6, within 5 to 6 months, she was
Yeah,
pretty much.
that's what
normal.
I'm expecting to happen in my case.
Yeah.
Okay, who would like to address the group and
One
answer a
thing I want to say
Oh.
before you, one thing I want to say is,
course.
that is, my doctor, neurologist, just, I don't know, like in the last appointment, he mentioned to me that you should get a Lepidova pump if the medication is not working as good as before the surgery. So my question to him was, like, why pump was not suggested to me? Because if you say that Lepidova high dose give you side effect for dyskinesia, and how is gonna perform if I get a pump and continuous supply of Lepidova is given to my body? He says no, because that's a very low dose, and it is consistent, and it keeps your level like at the same level. So that's what he's suggesting now.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for sharing
Yeah.
that.
So something of interest also, one of my friends who I've known for like 15 years, he had a tumor many years ago. And when the doctor back then had removed the tumor, they had to go in through the back part of the brain. And he said, there's a really good chance that you're going to lose use of your left arm. So he had to have the tumor removed. He did. But after that, his left arm started just shaking and unusable. So movement disorder, basically. And he's lived like that for 15, 20, no, for more, like 20, 30 years. So once my wife had the DBS, he was all interested. He spoke to Dr. Danish and his team, and they just performed the DBS surgery on him. Even though it's not Parkinson's, it's still movement disorder. So he performed the DBS. As of 2 weeks ago, they put the generator in, and now he's starting to heal. They haven't turned it back on, but from what they told me is during the surgery, when they wake you up, his arm stopped moving when they turned it on. So it's another way that the DBS can help people, even if it's not Parkinson's, it's still that same part of the brain that got affected, and it has helped. Well, it hopefully will help them as much as possible.
Well,
Have you heard about high HI if you high intensity focus ultrasound?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another way of doing it. From what I've heard, the high intensity ultrasound, when we went to Beth's neurologist, he was explaining it. They do one side of, first of all, they have to shave your whole head. They do one side of the brain. And what they're doing is they're creating scar tissue with the high focus ultrasound in a certain part of the brain. Then like 9 months or 10 months later, they do the other side. So I guess it has to heal.
Mhm.
The one negative that he brought up is what you're doing is you're scarring the brain, and you could totally cure you for the time if Parkinson's doesn't get worse, but you're curing it for that moment. But if you scar the wrong area of the brain, there's no going back.
Oh,
So it does work, it's good, but for certain cases of people, if DBS may not be an option, then that's something that this doctor looks into.
so DBS is better than high focus.
Right, again, I'm not a doctor, but according to what the neurologist at Robert Woods was saying, yes, he prefers DBS because it's adjustable, because as the disease progresses, you could make fine-tunements and changes, whereas the focus ultrasound, it's a once in on each side, and that's it. So
Yeah, reversible.
yeah, and if you get it a little wrong, there's no going back.
That's right. I think JFK now have hypo. They're starting hypo. JFK.
What's the word you use starting?
The JFK now have high. It's the high intensity focus ultrasound.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, got it.
Yeah, also, Robert, the doctor we're using is from Jersey Shore, and they're also getting the high focus ultrasound.
Hmm.
So it's becoming more popular. It does work, from what I've heard.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. Mhm.
But like anything else, there's pros and cons with any surgery.
Right, right. Yeah.
I have a question. Does anybody start again? Has anyone had the Duopa? Or know somebody who has done that one? Because
What is
don't
that?
think- it's they're coming out with a smaller one. It's like a pack that they attach to your side, and a tube goes into right into your stomach area. And I guess once it's in there, they put it's for you to get your medicine more direct.
Mm.
Because I don't think I would ever be a candidate for DBS because I have other issues with some blood clots, like in the bottom of my brain and my spine. So I don't think I would never take the chance of doing something like that with the other issues I have.
Now,
I'm
I don't
just
know. Yeah, I don't know anything about that surgery, but I have heard that there is something where, like you were saying, it's a pump that goes in your stomach where it gives you an even dose of the medicine throughout the
Right.
time. The problem with the pills is you take it, it takes a while to go to the on time,
Right.
then it goes to the off time and you can't take it again. Whereas this medicine with the pump gives you every moment, constant
Right.
feed of medicine.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I don't know exactly. I told you like the pump. He was telling me that they will put a tube in the gut area, and that will the pump will supply the continuous dose of levodopa. That's what exactly he said to me. But
Okay.
it works good in some people.
All right.
Now, when Beth first was diagnosed with the Parkinson's, the doctor had her try a patch.
Mhm.
And you put the patch on different areas of your skin, and it gives you a steady dose of the medicine.
Right.
The problem with her is every time you ripped the patch off, it would create such a blemish, and it's like almost
Like a
was
blister.
Yeah, like a blister, like you were ripping off part of her skin.
Right.
And it was way too painful. It was more painful than the actual
Yeah. Well,
medicine.
I'm on the patch, the Nupro patch.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
right,
24-hour
right.
patch. And I couldn't put it on the sides of my stomach either because it would just rip the skin, but I put it on my legs. I alternate legs.
I
put it in
got
a different
rash
spot.
from that. I tried that and I got a rash from that.
Well, that, yeah, because, yeah, I haven't, knock wood. I haven't had any issues with that because that seems to be the only thing that really I find a difference when I forget to put it on when I get out of the shower and a couple hours later, my legs are like shaking like crazy. I'll put one on and within 15 minutes it stops. It calms
great.
down.
Actually, I just got
Um,
on the phone with my neurologist because I've been having a lot of trouble. My biggest issue is the stiffness and the
Mhm.
walking. And she told me that I should take the medicine, the carbidopa, levodopa, much more regularly, like on a scheduled basis. So I'm going to set an alarm and do that.
Mhm.
It's hard with my job though, but I'm going to set an alarm. So hopefully
Yeah.
by doing it every 4 hours and doing a steady state, it's going to help. Because right now I'm so stiff.
Mhm.
Anybody else have that issue with stiffness?
Yes. Lately, especially when the weather is nasty, when it's like raining and humid, I can barely move.
I'm a physician and I just went back to work after having the heart valve replaced.
Hmm.
It's really hard sometimes where I just feel like I get stuck in a position where I can't get out. Is that
Especially if there's big crowds. Like if
or
you're,
space, like an examining room? It's like
yeah.
I'm at my wit's end. I'm really
Yeah, well, we had one of my first cousins passed away last week, so we had her services last night and the funeral mass this morning. And I had my cane with me, but at the funeral parlor, oh my gosh, I was afraid to move because I mean, there's so many people there, and as I was moving, I noticed I was getting very stiff and very like just a little panicky. So I went back and I sat down and, just waited till we were leaving.
And then what about getting up from a chair? Do you have trouble with that too?
Sometimes, yeah, especially the couch. I
Yeah,
have to like scoot my butt to the front of the couch and then lift myself up.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, all this sounds so much like what Beth was going through before the surgery. So she
Yeah.
was also very
Get
stiff.
tremors. I don't get tremors or shakes or anything like that. My biggest thing is my handwriting is awful. Thank God doctors can have bad handwriting. And the
Must be a
stiffness,
requirement to become a doctor.
One
Because I don't
thing-
know one that writes clearly.
Yeah, one thing that you should watch when you take more of the carbidopa is the dyskinesia may act up more. Because the carbidopa helps you, but it also, if you have too high of a dose, will cause dyskinesia.
Ah,
So it's you need it, but if you have too much, it then gives another, problem.
and I just went to another doctor the other day for another opinion on the medications, and she feels that I might be a little over medicated.
what do you take?
I take Rytary, I take carbidopa levodopa, I take entacapone, trihexyphenidyl, and the patch. That's just for the Parkinson's. But I'm also on warfarin, which is Coumadin, for the issues I have in my spine, and of course cholesterol medication. And I'm on eye drops, a maintenance eye drop, because I have uveitis, which is inflammation behind both eyes. So,
And then, I don't have like diabetes, blood pressure, or cholesterol, but since I had the valve replaced and there was so much damage, it put me into heart failure. So
oh
now
my
I'm
gosh.
it's a nightmare.
Hmm.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I just learned we learned a lot about Parkinson's disease, and of course I don't know what you guys are going through because I don't have any of this, but just hearing what you guys are saying and relating it to what I've learned about the medication that's available, a lot of the medications do have side effects that cause a lot of the symptoms you guys are also saying. So it's like
Yeah.
it's going to help the symptoms, but then it really could also cause the side effects. So what have your doctors said about that? Have they mentioned anything? Have they mentioned anything about natural ways to do
Mm.
things? Is that even possible?
Not
So-
none of mine did.
I have
Yeah.
a friend who's very into natural medicine and she's always sending me stuff like you should take this supplement, that supplement. But I take so many friggin' pills already that I don't want to take anything
I
else.
know.
You know, I don't want to take
Yeah.
anything else.
When
Yeah.
Beth was getting worse and worse, and the medicine, she was upping the medicine, and then, like you just said, the medicine caused side effects. So you need the carbidopa, levodopa, the dopamine, to stop the tremors and the stiffness, but then it causes the dyskinesia and dystonia. So it's a losing battle. The more you take, the more you need, the more you take, the worse you are. That's when the doctor recommended seeing a different one for the DBS surgery. So the DBS was the solution to the constant medicine upgrade.
Mhm.
And now, after the surgery, she's cut the medicine in half and the dyskinesia all but went away.
That's
So,
good. The
yeah.
medicine is- I mean, the DBS is good for some of the cases. Yeah.
Now, Donna, one thing
Yes.
that you said was you're taking Rytary, which is a long, from what I remember, the doctor's telling us, that's a long-term dosage of carbidopa throughout the day. Now, if
Right.
you take that in addition to carbidopa, her Bet's doctor said you're not supposed to take both at the same time because it's the same medicine, but one does it in, let's say, 4-hour dosages, another one does it throughout the day.
Yeah, well, he put me on the Rytary first, and I wasn't really, I was having too many peaks and valleys, and it was just
Yeah.
awful. So he added, what I was doing was taking 4 pills 3 times a day of the Rytary. I was taking 1 pill 3 times a day of the trihexyphenidyl and the entacapone, and they were supposed to help the Rytary be a little bit more extended release, and it didn't. And I guess earlier this year, he put me on the carbidopa levodopa because I said to myself, I can't stand this anymore. Taking the medication, well, I have to be a little bit better about taking it on time. And I've gotten better at that now, but it's just, he
You
also
have
put
the
me,
patch. You
What's
also
that?
said you have the patch.
yes,
So the
and the patch, right, and the patch.
Yeah, the patch does similar to the other medicines. So now, I'm not a doctor, but it sounds
Mhm.
like you're taking the same type of medicine 3 different ways,
Exactly.
and it could be over-medicating.
Yep, and that's what this doctor I went to see the other day said. It's very possible. So she's weaning me off.
What's her name?
Dr. Farmer,
Yeah, because
she's, yeah, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
She's down in Pennington, which is only about 30 minutes tops from my house. But she was very good, and she was very nice, and she just said that she really felt I was being over medicated. So she wants me to stop the carbidopa levodopa. I take it 2 times a day with my second dose and my last dose.
Yes.
So I got to take the one from the second dose away for 2 weeks, and then the one in the last dose for 2 weeks. Then I go to the trihexyphenidyl and do the same thing. I take that the first and fourth.
We didn't tell that I started 19 because
I'm like,
Yeah.
and
it's
I
not
have
too.
to stop the first one for 2 weeks and the second one for 2 weeks. Then she wanted me to start taking Zoloft with my I'm also on escitalopram. And when I went to pick the Zoloft, the generic for Zoloft, I don't know the name of it, but when I went to pick it up at the pharmacy, the pharmacist came over to the counter and she says, "You're taking what was the one she said? Oh, with the warfarin. I should not be taking the Zoloft, combined with the escitalopram, because
Well,
it'll
they're the same class of drugs.
what's that?
The Zoloft and the citalopram are in the same class of medication.
Right, they're antidepressants, but she didn't feel that the one alone was working for me. But I haven't taken it yet because all I need is, my blood to get too thin or too thick, which we're having a problem with now because it fluctuates. At one point earlier this year, it was down to, it's supposed to be between the numbers 2 and 3. Earlier this year, it was down to 0.9. And another time this year was up to 6.7 or 6.8, which is
Coumadin
not
a
good.
hard drug. Coumadin is a hard drug. Warfarin is
Yes.
Just, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Sorry. Lizanne has had her hand up. She has a question.
I
Please.
actually just had a comment, like, everybody talks about their own individual things, but the biggest thing I've learned about Parkinson's and being with my husband for the past 5 years is it's very individual. And it's
yeah.
not, you know, it's what works for one person does not work for another. And I'm sure 20 years from now, they're going to have like maybe 5 major subsets of different type, you know, your Parkinson A, your Parkinson B, your, you know, but so it's really, you know, there's a lot of trial and error, adjusting meds, trying different things, trying DBS, getting DBS and tinkering it with it. And I know that they use DBS for a lot of other, you know, they use it for epilepsy in children. They use it for obsessive compulsive disorder, which I think would be easier because they know a specific area in the brain that they can go to. Now they're starting to use it with patients with Tourette's. So I think it, you know, and yet I also know from the literature that only about 10% of Parkinson's patients even get DBS. So how can we compare, you know, when we're also, when the patients are also individual? It's frustrating.
It's tough.
Right,
It really, yeah, it
exactly,
is.
exactly.
Very
It is.
frustrating.
Mhm.
Hey,
So-
Doug?
Yes,
Doug, it's good to see you. Did you have a question or a comment?
No, just a comment. Thank you for everybody's comments. It's interesting to share this wealth of knowledge, to be sure. It's good. I don't have Parkinson's, but all this is good therapy for my brain to try to absorb everything. There's a dear family member of ours who has gotten Francisca in the body oils. It's ironic. One of these is mentioned in the Bible. And when she gets anxiety seizures or sessions, maybe 2 to 3 times a week, she'll apply a combination of these oils: frankincense, lavender, and peppermint. She applies them back here in the neck and on the wrists. And of course, that way they bypass the alimentary canal, the digestive system. They go into, who knows, maybe they go right into the nervous system. I'm not sure. But she finds that it can really help that particular aspect. What?
And exercise.
And well, and exercise too, to be sure. That's a given. She likes to walk around the house. She'll do a little bit of Hispanic dancing, but I don't think any probably doctors might recommend something as basic as these, because body oils have been around for a long, long time. So FYI, if anybody's interested, you can source these online if one's at all interested, without a prescription, to be sure.
Yeah. I'd like to
Thank
see the dancing, actually.
Well, what would you want, a cumbia or a cha-cha or a?
Ooh, cha-cha would be good. Do
Well-
you do the cha-cha with Francesca?
Well, I can
No.
still do it alone. It's excellent exercise. Maximum movement, minimum stress and strain on the joints. Obviously, sadly, if the case is too advanced, why you're risking a fall, obviously. But maybe just in place. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, 3, 4, slowly. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, 3,
Remember that-
4,
You
cha-cha-cha.
had, Donna, or wherever, we had the sitting in the chair exercise. Remember that? What was that? That was.
Yeah,
fun.
you can find that online also. I think it's with the Parkinson's Foundation, or is that right,
Parkinson's
John and
Found-
Nancy? I think
Parkinson's Foundation has over 100 videos on various things, from posture, dance.
Yep.
It's extensive, and it's available and it's free.
yep, and
Yeah.
they're very good. It really is. It gives you a good
Yeah.
workout when you know. So I just
Yeah.
get
And-
lazy.
They also show the exercises, not in moderation, but in case you're not Jack LaLanne or Jane Fonda jumping around, things that you're able to do sitting in a chair, for example.
Yeah, and they modify it if you need it. a little-
Modify, that's the M word.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Jack LaLanne is a name I haven't heard for a really, really long time.
Long
but I-
time, yeah.
I do remember him.
He's not still around, is he?
I
don't
don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I kind of
Can
don't
I
think
ask
so.
a different question? Have you
Sure.
heard about, have you heard about B1 therapy?
B1?
B1.
You
B1
mean
therapy.
just the vitamin B1?
Yep.
Hmm.
I don't know if you can see
Oh,
it
let's see. Oh,
Interesting.
by Daphne Bryan. Don't know if you- Can you see it?
it's kind of in and out.
Yeah.
But you're saying B is in boy, one, B1.
B1,
therapy.
vitamin B1. Vitamin
Okay.
B1.
Have
That I
you
am,
tried it?
I'm reading this book. That I can read something about what's it all about at the back of the book.
What was the name of it? It keeps cutting out.
I think yeah, Parkinson's high intensity.
No, it's B1
No, I'm sorry,
therapy
B1 therapy.
by Daphne Bryan.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
story in 2011, the Italian neurologist Dr. Antonio Constantini began treating his Parkinson patients with high doses of B1. As a result, their symptoms improved by up to 70%
Oh, my gosh.
with no obvious progression in the disease over the 5 years he worked with them. Yet there is still a lack of awareness about this valuable therapy amongst the doctors and Parkinson's nurses. That's what is written here. I'm just reading the book.
Okay,
And they have
thanks.
a Facebook chat group, and if you type B1 therapy by Daphne Bryan, you can join them and ask questions. Actually, I joined them already.
That's interesting. Thank you for bringing that to the table.
Are you
Yeah.
thinking of trying the B1 therapy?
Yeah, I'm planning to because but because I just came out from the hospital actually last week for 2 weeks at JFK because I lost my balance and I got frozen legs. So I got the therapy, but I was thinking of this for a while. I've been reading this book for a while, so because I don't want to. I want to be sure that this one will work for me. But it's interesting. It's I got this probably like $8 from Amazon. The book.
Does it
So
say if there are any side effects of the B1 if you take it at too high dosage?
I cannot and then read the whole thing book, the book, but I would rather I don't want to make any comments because I'm not a doctor also. So I'm just trying to find anything that will help me.
Mhm.
But
I just Googled
yes,
B1 therapy and the Michael J. Foundation. Oh,
you have to
Put that in.
search DAPHNE that Daphne Bryan Bryan.
gotcha.
She's also
Yeah,
a
so you
patient.
can Google it.
Yeah, she's also a patient. She also has Parkinson, and she somehow discovered this B1 therapy by Dr. Constantini, and I believe she feel better without. Maybe she have less symptoms now, because she's heading this chat group.
Okay, well, we're looking into. Thank you. Hey, Eric,
Yes,
how are you?
tired. It's been a long day. We just got to the house.
Nice
There's
view.
the hit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a nice view.
Yeah, very nice.
All
Oh,
right,
you
so
got the one
no,
with the
so
work?
no, so nobody's answering any of these questions. You just bag it.
I got the questions. I got the questions in the house. I can look at them probably. Answer them. Hang on, I get in the house first. I'll still sit out in the car in the heat. I don't wanna
sorry?
Lose you guys. I don't want to lose you guys either. I seem to be losing everybody on stupid Zoom bullet lately.
Okay,
I'm gonna head into the house, but I can make it.
okay.
I'm
Okay,
also off. I'm also off on my medicine right now. I'm
okay.
not too stable.
Beautiful background.
That was by my son's house on Lavalette. He doesn't have a house anymore, so
Oh,
we won't
nice.
get any new ones. But the first
Oh,
2
okay.
years we got a nice one.
Okay, so whether you like it or not, one of John's questions that he answered is, what's on your bucket list? And he gave a very simple answer. Does anyone want to guess?
Get a cure.
What's that?
Get a cure for Parkinson's.
No, it's not quite that serious.
Just to feel better? Feel like his old self?
No, he wants to see the Barbie movie.
Oh. Ah,
Good one, good one.
My daughter saw it. She said it was cute.
Oh, I've heard nothing but good reviews. I
It
would
looks
like,
a
and
little
both of us.
stupid. It
What's
looks a
that?
little stupid. The coming
Yeah,
attraction
yes.
looks a little stupid though,
Yeah, well.
but you never know.
Anyway, I want to see Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I think Oppenheimer would be much more
Supposed to be
interesting.
good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I've heard only good stuff about.
Hey, Shelley, did you raise your hand?
No, I was scratching.
Okay.
I was just gonna ask one question. I was just
Sure.
thinking, there was a gentleman that used to play, I think, the guitar. I don't remember his name.
Wilson?
Is he? It was a gentleman that was on, and he used to come on all the time. And I believe he played in a band or he played a guitar.
Wilson?
Wilson Flores.
Was it Wilson? No, there was somebody else. I can't remember who it was. Or maybe it was Bill. Maybe it was Bill.
Wasn't
I
me.
just
That's
haven't seen
Um,
everybody in a long time.
Someone in a band. I don't know. Doesn't ring a
Maybe it
bell.
was. Maybe
Oh,
it was Wilson.
oh,
Wilson
Jeff
play a
Cantor?
guitar. Does Wilson play a guitar?
yes.
Yes.
Oh, maybe that's who it is.
But I
I've
think
seen
Nancy,
Wilson.
it might have also been Jeff Cantor, because Jeff was in a band.
Oh, maybe. And then there's
Yeah.
the gentleman Bill.
Bill Moore?
I think. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Did he go to work with the younger patients, people?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe we're not the younger patients.
I didn't know.
When did we not become younger?
We're as young as we feel,
It's only a number.
right? I saw the article, Donna, with the Patriots, the Patriots article,
Okay, I haven't seen it.
and I had emailed Ally and
Mhm.
congratulated her on being the advocate for the month.
Okay,
And I think, but Pat's not on, is she? Because she asked me, Ally asked me to send her the article because she hadn't seen it.
mhm.
So
Would you mind sending it to me when we're done?
if I can, yeah, if I can do it, I'll have to ask my son. I'm not like technology savvy that way.
You could probably just take Ally's email and forward it to me.
Yeah,
Where are we?
okay,
on
I'll,
this?
I'll do that.
Oh, there you are.
Do
So
full
anyway,
screen.
sorry.
That's okay. Are you going to join us for that night?
What at the Patriots?
Uh-huh.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Anyone else who's on this call that might be interested? Is it okay if Nancy and John, is it okay if I just tell everybody about it?
Yeah, we're gonna be there.
Oh, I know. We
We-
are
we-
singing, what, is that Eric?
We're planning on it right now.
Okay, good. Good. We should have about 15 to 18 choir members coming. We are singing the national anthem at the Somerset Patriots game on September 5th.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, game time is 6:30. We'll probably go on about 6:20-ish.
Where is that?
So, Somerset Patriots Stadium in TD Bank Stadium in Bridgewater.
Yeah, Bridgewater.
Yeah. Yep, it's September 5th. Gates
Who's
open at
playing?
5. If anybody wants tickets, let me know because we got a discount on the tickets at $10 each. So,
Who's playing?
I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. I don't know. But we are going to be singing the national anthem at the stadium.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, very cool.
Where is that? What is that exactly?
It's September 5th. It's at the Somerset Patriots Stadium, which is TD Bank Stadium in Bridgewater. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the area, but it's like right across the street from the Target that's there. There's a Old Navy.
There's
And
an
they
SDS there, tire place too.
It's
Yep.
off at 287.
It's a
Yes.
baseball game.
Did you say that's the ticket, there's a $10 discount or the
No,
tickets?
tickets are $10.
Well, if our son were to take us, would he qualify for for that price
Oh,
also?
anybody who gets a ticket through me gets a $10 ticket.
Okay, how much
Yep.
would it normally be?
Depends on the section. It'd probably be, I think the highest is $14, 14 and
Oh,
change.
okay.
You know, the ticket
Oh.
prices are very, very inexpensive. Unfortunately, the food is very expensive, but there is not a bad seat in the stadium. They only have one level. They consider it 3 levels, but it's not like an upper deck or a mezzanine section or loge section in the big stadiums. But they're very family oriented. And
We need 3 then.
I'm sorry?
Here,
I'm sorry, we're having
we need 3 then,
Don,
Donna.
Is that baseball or
Baseball. They're actually a minor league affiliate of the New York Yankees. Right now, one of their pitchers, Nestor Cortez, is doing his rehabbing with the Patriots. So, yep. Anybody that wants to go, I need to have the tickets in, the ticket count in by, I think it's August 15th.
okay. How
So
much is parking there?
$5 per car
Oh,
load.
wow, very
Mhm.
reasonable.
Yes. And I'll be sending out an email with all the information. So I had a meeting, I went over to the stadium. He literally walked me through step by step what's going to happen. We have a place where we can warm up and practice. So we're all set. Now
We're
the
gonna
date-
get to hit some baseballs or practice thinking.
practice singing.
Oh,
They do have the batting cages inside, but I don't think they would allow us to use them.
And to get tickets from you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, you can either I have Zelle, so I can give you the information in the email. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just give you point by point where we're going to meet, you know, what's going to happen step by step. So, and I'll include that information as well.
So you're emailing everyone.
Who's
Sure.
who's going to who
Okay.
yeah, I'll get if you can. I was just sorry. My brain is, my mouth is trying to go faster than my brain. Or the
mine does
opposite.
that all the
I don't know.
time.
But if you can give me a list of the people outside of the choir that are on this call, I can include them as well.
Did
If
you
that's
say September 5th?
Yes, it's a day after Labor Day. Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a Tuesday, I guess. Yeah,
Correct.
okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Choir has to be there by 5:30. That's when gates open, and I would suggest getting there by 5:30 if you're planning on coming. Because the parking lot sometimes fill up quickly.
And traffic
So-
there is brutal.
Yes, but see, I don't take the exit that takes you past the shopping area. I take the first exit coming, I guess that would be 27 North to the
Mhm.
first exit, and then just come up and merge onto 28, make a right at that first traffic light, go down to the next traffic light, and the stadium is, I would make a right, and the stadium is on your left-hand side. So, but I'll have everything in the email I send out.
Great. All right, it's 6 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm never
Yes.
gonna do this again.
Oh, no, that was good. I liked
Good
it. We did
idea.
a couple of them. I mean, we got off on a tangent, but we did
Mhm.
a couple of them.
Well, whatever.
Thank you for the
Anyway,
effort.
it was a very
Good
interesting
idea.
conversation. It certainly went in a few different directions, but it's all good. It's all good. So, okay, so everybody have a great evening and.
You too. Have a
You
great
as well.
weekend.
Yep.
Enjoy.
Thank
Keep
you for your
cool.
efforts.
Good seeing everybody. Sorry, I got that. That was
And
good.
likewise.
Bye.
now.
Keep cool,
Take care,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.
Bless you.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Bye.